right, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to start off giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes, whom Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai will have mercy upon. The names Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, or what you heard me speak of, are the ancient Paleo-Hebrew names of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, who the world ignorantly calls God or Yahweh, which is not his name, or Yahuwah, or Jesus, or Yeshua, which those are not the names. The names are Yahweh, Bahashem, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, okay, Hamashiach. And what I wanted to do, starting off, I'm your brother Matazabath from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. And I just wanted to do a quick edification to Revelation chapter 21 and verse 24. Now, although the apostles and some of the other elders have gone into this, what I wanted to do, all right, being another member of the body, all right, is to bring more edification and exhortation to the body, all right, as we are here giving our due service to feed the flock. All right, we all have a part to play. And I just wanted to approach it and bring out some more clarification, as this can be a stumbling block. Now, as you see here, this is from the beloved elder Karatazatba, all right, from the Baltimore camp. Biblical Defenders is his YouTube handle. Please subscribe so that you may be edified. Now here, all right, the title of the beloved elders video is An Israelite Who Steals Old Breakdowns to Bring Controversy. All right, now, disclaimer. What you are about to see in this video, all right, is Brother Hassad breaking down Revelation chapter 21 and 24 incorrectly. So this video is not to attack him, but this video is to correct him, all right, as we are set for the defense of the gospel, all right. Our job, all right, is to bring sound doctrine, okay, and we are to rebuke those so that they may be sound in the faith, okay. So I'm going to play the video, and then we're going to get into the lesson.
That it's fair. It's fair that somebody would have a question right here. So Revelation 21 and 24, look what it says. And the nations of them which are saved, of them which are saved. The nations are saved, is what Revelation 21 and 24 is saying. The nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. That's very important to understand what it is, but let's keep going. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. So what do we do with this? Yashar Union, the water family, So right here it's saying the nations are going to be saved. We teach the nations will not be saved. So either one of three things is going on. Look at this. Somebody said that's talking about Israel. Wrong. That's okay. And I don't say that to put you on the spot, family, but I just use you as an example of brothers that might read this, sisters that might read this, and completely butcher it and get it wrong. This is not talking about Israelites getting saved. It's not. When it says the nations of them which are saved, this is talking about heathens. When it says the nations of them which are saved, this is talking about heathens.
Okay, so we don't need to go any further, all right? And obviously, being a former member of Sakari, I don't know the original understanding, all right, to that particular verse on how they were taught, but it's clear as day that they don't have the understanding of Revelation 21 and 24. Now, when we go into it, just understand, we shall all know by now who salvation is for. Now, I like to always start off by going back to the basics. When you go to Psalms chapter 119 and verse 104, all right, our forefather David said this: through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Okay, so we're going to go according precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, to get some understanding of Revelation chapter 21 and 24. And I don't want to make this a long video, but we'll see where the Spirit leads me. The first thing I want to do is to establish who salvation is for. Let's go to Psalms 14 and verse 7. I'll write a basic precept which says, "Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion." Didn't say any other nation in the world, although there are 18 nations that the Bible speaks of. And out of the 18 nations, the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is only dealing with one nation. It goes on to say, "When Yahweh bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad." Okay, that's precept number one. Let's go from there to the book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 13, which says, "I bring near my righteousness, and it shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry, and I will place salvation in Zion for Israel, my glory." Once again, this is another precept from the prophet Isaiah that aligns with the Psalms. Okay, going back to Psalms, the 14th chapter. So let's go from there to another precept. All right, we're going to go to the book of Joel, chapter 2. And really, we can start at verse 27 and drop down. Joel, chapter 2 and verse 27. And it says, "And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed." So the Lord Yahweh is establishing here, okay, that he is the power or the God of one nation, okay? No other nations, okay? When you drop down in the same chapter, verse 32, it reads, it says, "And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered." Okay, now it's going to tell you what this means. Okay, in terms of the word whosoever, who falls under that category under whosoever? It says, "For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance." So when you Christians read the word whosoever, it's telling you within the verse of who falls under that word. It says, "For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance." It didn't say anybody else. Okay. It says, "As Yahweh have said, and in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call." Now, what we like to do when we deal with Joel 2 and 32, we have to pick out these words. And in this case, we're going to pick out the word remnant. All right. So when you go into the Hebrew word for remnant, all right, in the remnant,
Strong's H 8300, Sarid, Sarid.
okay, it says in the Strong's definition, a survivor, alive, left, remaining. Okay, so meaning what? The remaining of Israel. So the precept that should come to mind is, let's go to Isaiah 11 and 11. It says the restored remnant. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people." And who is his people? We read it in Joel, the 2nd chapter. Okay, the nation of Israel. Okay, so it says, "Which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth." Why? Because all 12 tribes have been scattered according to biblical prophecy and according to the curses that we're still under till this day. Okay, so that's the understanding on that. Now let's go to the New Testament because what did Peter say? Acts chapter 2, verse 21. "And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved." All right. Peter was quoting from Joel. All right. It goes on to say, verse 22, "Ye men of Israel, hear these words." That's who it was for. Yahweh Shai of Nazareth, a man approved of the Most High among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which the Most High did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know. That's why when the Messiah was born on the scene, this is what the angel said to Joseph. Okay, Matthew 1:21, and she, meaning Mary, shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name. We know it to be Yahushai, which the name is not Jesus. That is a corrupt mistranslation, which goes back to the Greek word Iesus, okay, which when you look up the Greek word for Iesus, it actually goes back to the Hebrew word, the Lashawan Kodash, Yahushai, okay, and we got many videos breaking that down. Just drop a comment in the video if you want to see that breakdown. But nevertheless, it goes on to say, for he shall save his people from their sins. Okay. Now, who is his people? Who did he come to save? Let's go to Acts chapter 5, verse 30. It says, the God of our fathers raised up Yahushai, whom ye slew and hanged on the tree, and him hath the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. That's his people. Okay. This is in the New Testament and also in the Old Testament. And as the scripture says, the Lord changes not. So now that we have that as an introductory starting point, understanding who salvation was for, let's go back to Revelation 21:24. It says, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. Now, to understand this precept, we got to start up a couple of verses, right? And we'll start at verse 22. It says, and I saw no temple therein, for the Lord power almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it, right? Because at the moment, the tabernacle of David, pursuant to Amos, the 9th chapter, all right, starts with the elect of the house of Israel. And with that, the temple is being built through us, because the scripture says the kingdom of heaven is within you. And so when you deal with that, let's get this here. I believe it's in Ephesians. Let's see here. If I go to, let me type in apostles. Let me put the New Testament. We are being built on a sure foundation, but it's a spiritual temple. Okay. Ephesians 2. And let's see here. I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, for through him we both have access by one spirit unto the Father, Yahweh. And now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners. And this is speaking to Israelite foreigners that were in a Gentile state of mind, but fellow citizens with the saints. And who are the saints? Psalms 50:5. Those who have made a covenant with me. Is speaking of the Israelites. And of the house of the Most High, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto a holy temple in the Lord. That's why it tells you in 1 Corinthians, let me see if I can remember that, 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 16, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. So we are the spirit. We're that spiritual third temple being built right now, and we are being builded upon the foundations. When you go back here to Ephesians 2:20, it says, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets. Okay. So all you niggas out there that have a problem with the apostles, the bishops, the elders in that order, you need to check yourself, man, because that's the hierarchy that the Lord has set up. OK, that's how the foundation is ran. OK, it starts with our beloved apostles, man. All right, who have labored in this truth. They were set up. OK, so now that we understand that, let's come back here. Revelation 21:22. So it says, and I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. Because remember, Yahushua is the chief cornerstone. And then from there, you have what? You have Yahushua, you have King David. OK, you have the 12 apostles, and then you have the 144,000 in that order. Verse 23, and the city had no need of the sun. What's the city in this context? The city represents New Jerusalem, which is the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. All right, because the proof for that, when you go to, let's get 2 Maccabees real quick. All right. And Lord's will, this is edifying. 2 Maccabees chapter 5 and verse 19. dealing with the land. It says, nevertheless, the Most High did not choose the people for the place's sake, meaning Jerusalem, but the place for the people's sake. All right. So that's why we say Jerusalem is a people first before it's an actual place. So that city, going back to Revelation 21 and 23, when it says it had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, which represents what? Wisdom. Okay, to shine in it, for the glory of the Most High did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Even when you go back to Revelation 12 and 1, dealing with the woman, which is the nation of Israel, pursuant to Jeremiah 6, is likened unto a comely, delicate woman. It says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, which represents wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars, which represents the 12 tribes of Israel. Right. So now let's go back to chapter 21 and let's read verse 23 again. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon. Why? Because when we get into the kingdom, started with the elect, we're going to get those spiritual bodies. We're going to be extraterrestrials on the planet Earth. OK, there's a precept that says in Wisdom of Solomon, all right, that we're going to have sparks. Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 7. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine. You see that? We're going to have that aura about us and run to and fro like the sparks among the stubble. OK, because the Lord is going to use us as weaponry to go up against Esau, Edom, and the other nations, man. OK, but the point of the matter is that it says in our visitation, they shall shine. OK, because we're going to have that aura on us, man. OK, we're going to have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. OK, because that leads to, let's go from there to Sirach chapter 19. It leads to immortality. OK, Sirach 19 and 19, the knowledge of the commandments, which is going to be restored in us in our inward part, pursuant to the new covenant. It says the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. That's what we are seeking for. OK, immortality, baby. That's what it's about. OK, so we're going to have that when we get in the kingdom. Now, the point going back to verse 23, it says, for the glory of the Most High did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. OK, now when you deal with this light, because that's another key part in verse 24, where it says that the nations shall walk in the light of it. Now, let's deal with the word light. All right. Now, when you deal with that, let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. Isaiah chapter 2. All right. And verse 5, it says, the house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of Yahweh. OK. And what is that light? All right, let's go through the precepts. All right. Isaiah 60 verses 1 and 9 and verses 19. It says, arise and shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. And it's speaking to the nation of Israel. The sun, verse 19, shall be no more thy light by day, neither for the brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy power thy glory. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that the sun and the moon is not going to be there, because we still going to have to use those heavenly ordinances to, usher in our feast days, to keep the Sabbaths and all of that stuff. So that's not what it's saying in that context. It just means that that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all right, is going to be within us. Psalms 89 and 15, another precept. Blessed is the people. What people? The Israelites that know the joyful sound. They shall walk, O Yahweh, in the light of thy countenance. OK, so now through the precepts, which, as we read, Psalms 119 and 104, through thy precepts, I get understanding. Just going based off a few of these precepts, we can start to get an understanding of what verse 24 might be actually speaking of. It's not speaking of the other nations. OK, Luke 1 is in 79. It says to give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. And when you go into Luke 1, starting at verse 67, John the Baptist's father, Zechariah, he prophesied about us being delivered and redeemed from the nations. Right? Now, remember going back to verse 23 in Revelation 21, it talked about the Most High Yahweh being a light into it, but also the Lamb is a light. This is John 12, verses 35 and 36. Then Yahweh Shah said unto them, yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in the darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light. These things spake Yahushai and departed and did hide himself from them. Okay, so let's get another one. Ephesians 5 and 8. For ye were sometimes in darkness, meaning we were spiritually dead, right? But now are ye light in the Lord, walk as the children of light. Okay. 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 5 and 6. Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Right? 1 John 1 and 7. But if we walk in the light, as he is the light, we have fellowship one with another, in the blood of Yahushai Hamashiach, his son, cleanseth us from all sin. And this is only speaking for the children of Israel, because what is sin according to the Bible? 1 John 3 and 4. Sin is the transgression of the law. Who was given the law? The Israelites, pursuant to Psalms 147, verses 19 and 20. And what do they have here? They have the precept going back to Revelation 21, verses 23 through 24. So now we understand that, going back into verse 24, that when it talks about in the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, that's not talking about the other heathen nations. Now, how can we prove that? Well, when you pick out the word nations in this context, you have the Greek word ethnos. All right. Now, let's just quickly go through this. Outline of biblical usage says a multitude, whether of men or of beasts associated or living together, a company, troop, swarm, a multitude of individuals of the same nature or genus, the human family, a tribe, nation, people, group. In the Old Testament, foreign nations not worshiping the true power, pagans, Gentiles. And the last one, it says, Paul uses the term for Gentile Christians. Now, why did they say that? Now we have to get some more context behind this word. OK, now I have here an article from Scribe Decom. All right. And we're just going to quickly go through this. So it says at the top, throughout our Bible, the Greek word ethnos is translated as Gentile or else or Salakia or as nation, while dogma and Christianity today interprets the word Gentile as non-Jew. That is not what it means in the Bible. For writers of Greek Old Testament Septuagint and of the New Testament, ethnos meant ethnic group or race. It was most often a reference to our ethnic group, our people of Israel, the lost sheep, when Yahushua came to redeem. It was sometimes used to refer to other ethnic group or groups. Whenever you come to the word Gentile or nation in the Bible, try replacing those words with our ethnic group. The context will make it clear if it refers to other ethnic groups. Mostly, Yahushua and the NT New Testament writers use the word to mean their own specific ethnic group, the Israelites. Never did they mean all who are not Israelites. OK, now, when you drop down, it says, never does any objective scholar attempt to pervert ethnos to mean all those who are not of the Jew or should be Israelite race. That is a meaning exactly opposite from its true meaning. Yet, that is the generally accepted meaning of the word Gentile by modern Christianity. And that's the reason why Christians have a hard time dealing with the Israelites. All right. The ones that is teaching the 100% truth. That is, anytime they come across the words in the New Testament, Gentile or Greek. Right. It goes on to say, it is only in recent years that this perverted meaning has become commonplace. And at the time of the 1611 King James translation, the word Gentile meant race, tribe, clan. So the word Gentile was properly used for that 1611 translation. But now that the meaning has been radically changed, it is not a proper word for translations today. And that's exactly what happened. All right, now it says here, scholars have done us a disservice by permitting this corruption of definition, making Gentile mean all the non-Jew races of the world. And all the races other than the true Israel are not Yahushai's lost sheep. They are not all evil and should not be abused or mistreated, and they can share in the riches, blessings of the Most High's children if they recognize. And this is where he goes off, but because we know that the other heathen nations are not going to share in the riches, right? But what we're doing is that we're just taking the meat from the bone. Now, where it says here, following are some definitions. It says ethnos is the Greek word translated into English as Gentile or nation. The word was commonly used to refer to one's own ethnic family group. One might say, go and tell the ethnos that I will meet with them tomorrow evening. Other connotations would include such meanings as that ethnic group, those ethnic groups, other ethnic groups, and so on. The use of singular or plural in the context makes it pretty easy to determine what the writer means. Well, it is easy to determine if one understands that the word was commonly used this way. And that's the reason why you have to understand the etymology of words, which is what a lot of people, they slip up on. OK, they don't understand. So now that we got that understanding, all right, when you come back over here, Revelation 21 and 24 says, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. Now, the beloved elder apostle Ramlab did a beautiful lesson going into the Greek Septuagint, because when you go into the shall walk, let's see here, in the light of it. Let me see if I can find it. Right. So when you click on this here, all right, which are saved, all right.
Strong's G 4982. Sozo. Sozo.
All right. Let's go into that if I can. All right, which are saved. So. All right. It says to save, keep safe and sound, to rescue from danger or destruction. Who's going to be rescued from danger or destruction? Meaning to be delivered. The Israelites. OK, that's pretty much self-explanatory. All right. Now, what's interesting about this, which the beloved elder apostle Ramlab went into this is from the Texas Receptus. Right. But when you drop all the way down from the Greek text, the MGNT, you won't see so in this context, OK, or in this actual verse. All right. Even when you go into the translation of the NLT, it doesn't say which are saved. NLT says the nations will walk in its light and the kings of the world will enter the city in all their glory. So when you take out that word, be saved, all right, and then it goes on to say the nations will walk in its light without having the word saved in there. Does that mean that the heathen nations fall under that category of walking in the light? No. Now, don't get it twisted. Pursuant to Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, the nations will have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, but they're going to be taught by us. We're going to be a light unto the nations. That's why it tells you in Deuteronomy, let's get a precept. All right, when we were under that first covenant. All right, Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who have the Most High so nigh unto them, as Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day. Okay, so even back then, we were supposed to be a sight, okay, to the other nations and us keeping the law, statutes, commandments. Okay, but how much more when the kingdom of heaven is established, they're going to come to us, man, because when we're going to be a dread unto them, being extraterrestrials on the planet Earth, and that's why that first 1,000 years ruling over them with the rod of iron is going to be needed, because it's going to take 1,000 years to whoop them back into shape. OK, look at what's going on the planet Earth right now. Everybody is just living lawlessly. There's no morals, no values, no beliefs from a righteous standpoint. So that first 1,000 year period, all right, is going to take that long, because we're going to have to beat it out of them, man. OK, you ain't going to be sitting up there, like the Moabites, the Ammonites. You're not going to be going in our waters and eating any abominable type of sea creature that don't have scales and fins according to the law. That's not going to happen. OK, the Japhites, you're not going to be sitting up there eating all type of swan and the seafoods and stuff like. Nah, man, there's going to be order, and everybody's going to have to get down keeping the law, statutes, commandments. And if that's not going to be the case to where you're going to buck up, all you got to do is read Zechariah the 14th chapter and Isaiah the 60th chapter. OK, so be that it may, going back here, Revelation 21 and 24, and the nations of them, all right, which in this context is talking about our ethnic group. All right. So which ethnic group is it referring to? All right. Well, we know salvation is for who? The Israelites. So in this context, the Israelites, all right, of them which are saved, because remember, we're scattered. OK, shall walk in the light of it. Now let's pick out this word walk in the Greek. Shall walk.
Strong's G 4043. Peripateo. Peripateo.
All right, peripateo. It says in the outline of biblical usage, to walk, to make one's way, progress, to make due use of opportunities. Hebrew for to live, to regulate one's life, to conduct oneself, to pass one's life. OK, in other words, when those laws, statutes, and commandments are implemented into us, OK, we're going to have that full wisdom and understanding through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So we're going to be walking in the light of it. OK, this is going to be how we conduct ourselves in the kingdom. That's why verse 23 is important, because it sets the stage for verse 24 when it talks about in the city, which is New Jerusalem, the people had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it. For the glory of the Most High did lighten it. Because what? He's going to put his glory in us. So those nations, OK, which is going to be gathered. All right. Which when you go to Revelation, and we'll get ready to close out Revelation 7 and 9, the multitude, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. When you go into all nations, it's ethnos. OK, but here, when you look up the word kindreds, this is also a proof that this great multitude was only speaking of Israelites. This is the Greek word phule. It says a tribe, and the NT, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch of Jacob. OK, so this particular race, clan, tribe is speaking in context the children of Israel. These are going to be the ones that's gathered. OK, because remember, we were scattered. All right, let's get James 1 and 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. All right. So they're going to be redeemed. All right. From the four corners of the earth, man. That's why I always say in my intro, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women and children out of the 12 tribes whom Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai will have mercy upon. That means that those Israelites that were scattered across the four corners of the earth, all right, they're going to be redeemed. All right, those who are found written in the book of life. Okay. So that's pretty much all that I wanted to get into pertaining to Revelation 21 and 24. All right. And the word nations here in this verse is not speaking of the heathen nations. It's speaking of the Israelites. All right. Now, when you go further on, where it talks about the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it, just go back and read Isaiah the 60th chapter. Okay. Because what we're going to do, all right, remember, we're going to take all of their gold, all of the precious metals that they have, all right, and the gates are going to be continually open pursuant to Isaiah the 60th chapter, man. And we're going to bring the glory, all the booties and spoils of the Gentile, the other heathen nations, all right, into our courts, man. Okay, that's really all that's saying there, and that's what it's going into. All right. And it tells you more in verse 25 and 26. So that's pretty much it. And I just wanted to give my take on it to bring some more edification. All right. And Lord's will, this was edifying. So with that, all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakaha Kodash. Once again, double honors to the beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David. Shalom.